Well, hello there, hello there. It is your girl Shonda Ray with Boss Talk. Welcome back. That's bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars. And tonight, I am thrilled, excited, and we're going to have some fun with my guest tonight. My guest tonight is my little brother. His name is LaMarr Lubin, but we call him LaMarr Deuce Lubin, or just plain Deuce for short. Now, you might know him, and you might not even know that you know him, because he was the co-leader of the platinum selling group DRS, that's Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, for 4 years. He was featured on the title cut Gangsta Lean, This Is For My Homies, which was a fixture at the top of the Billboard R&B and pop charts in 1993 and 1994. Gangsta Lean continues to be a highly recognized classic in the hip-hop community. Deuce co-wrote No More Love for the soundtrack of the movie Jason's Lyrics. His vocals can be also heard prominently in the platinum title back You Will Know, which featured artists such as D'Angelo, Brian McKnight, B.O.S.S, and Gerald Levert. Deuce is an incredible talent. He has collaborated with many well-known artists such as Digital Underground and MC Hammer. Deuce also has the honor of saying that he has performed and shared the same stage as Soulicious, Southern California's hottest show band, with my bestie. He also has made his mark on the international stage, performing live in London, Japan, and Amsterdam. And he's going to tell us a little bit more because he has recently been doing this amazing Southern tour. So without further ado, or another word from me, I'm going to bring to the stage LaMarr Deuce Lubin. Hey, you.
Woo! Yes, how you doing, sis?
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, I wore my African shirt for you.
I love that. You know, I love those colors.
Yes,
And we have the same color scheme, actually.
I know, I know, I
Kind of
know.
going on. I love it. So, little bro, how are you doing?
I'm doing really. You know what? I can't really complain. I want to, but I can't. God's been good. You
Yes,
know, hey, I've gone through a lot, and I'm still here, and I'm still being me. So praise
that's
God.
right. That's right. And that's what we can all do. And we have all had a lot of stuff, right? But the true testament of faith, of courage, of strength is when you stand the test and you take those tests and you pass those tests. And you are doing that, my brother. You have done it for a long time. And I just love you and I'm so proud of you. I really
Um,
am. Just want to
I
say that
love
off
you.
the top.
Well, I love you. I love you. Your dirty draws. No, um, I'm still
So,
waiting for
so
my necklace, though. No,
what you say?
I'm still waiting for my necklace. My birthday.
Oh, I know. So
Y'all,
so
well, can I tell? Some of them don't know that my sis is also amazing. She's not only a great psychiatrist, therapist, great woman, singer, but she's also an awesome artist, and she makes jewelry that's just incredible. And so I've been waiting for 20 years her to make me
almost
yeah, to make me a metal a necklace and that I'm waiting for. So yes. So
silver. And every
yeah,
birthday he goes, well,
every
this is nice.
birthday I'm
It ain't
like
my necklace.
open the present and I go, oh, my necklace.
And it's like a pair of socks, right?
Yeah. Oh man. But I
Well,
just want people to
Connie
know.
Lamar, our guest Connie. Connie was a guest on the show, and she is a avid follower of the show, and I just love you for that, Miss Connie. Connie Kirvin is also a singer. She's out of Boston. And so she's got that Boston groove sound going on. And she
She
says
got that
hello and she's excited about tonight's broadcast. And from one singer to another, we can definitely understand that. She also says that she loves that song, You Will Know. So she's a fan of yours. Connie. Thank you. Thank you. So, LaMarr, I want to get started with what you're doing most recently because anybody who follows you on Facebook is like, this guy is always everywhere. If there is a party, he is there. If there is some music being played, he is there, even when he is not the artist. So that's the one thing I want to say about you is that you support people even when they are performing, even if you're not performing. Now, I'm gonna call you out though because Chantel Denise is like, the boy don't never come to my stuff. I don't know. So
Oh,
you got to get to one of her shows. And
okay, now let me tell you about my other sis. Whenever she has a show, I got a show or something. So she'll be like, well, how come you didn't come to my show? But sometimes, and then sometimes like my transportation, or if it's too far away, I'm like, okay, sis. And then she don't understand. We perform, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, we perform all the time together. So I see her all the time. But she knows I do. I used to come to every show. I used to come to everything. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I can't if I can. But for some reason lately, when she has a show, I'm out of town now.
yeah,
Or
well, you have been a lot away. So let's talk about that. So I have noticed that I will look up and there you are in Georgia, in Texas, and all these places. So tell me, tell us, how did all this come about?
well, I last year when I don't has it been a year or 2 years? I mean, COVID has really made me forget the
Right.
time, but I think it was last year, or the year before, when we had the elections. God woke me up in the middle of the night and said, "Hey, I need you to write this song," and it was a double entendre about a woman, and it was called "Put Your Ballot in My Box," and it was like a week before the elections, and I wish I would have thought of it before. So what
Right.
happened is I called Anthony Graham and I called my music director, Stoney Dixon. I said, "Hey, I got this idea. I need your help." And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, "All I know is God woke me up in the middle of the night, told me to do this song. And I'm learning now that if God says something, I got to just do it. Because if
Yes.
not, I'm going to miss out." So I went and we did the song. And then I kind of procrastinated, but I got it to the studio and I couldn't find a videographer. So I actually used my phone, the Samsung 20. I give them a shout out. And I made a quick video real quick. When I did that, um, I put it on Facebook, and Tammy Mack from KGLH heard the song and said, "Boy, do you have an MP3?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "I want to play that on my show." And she said, "But I gotta ask Stevie first." So she went and I sent her the MP3. Stevie liked it, and they started playing it on KGLH. Now from there, I got a guy named DJ Cali Remix out of Houston, Texas, heard it, and he told my cousin, "I need to meet him because I can't believe that he still sounds the same." And that's a Southern Soul song. So I want to see if he can do some Southern Soul. So I met him. And so now I've been working on an album, working on Southern Soul songs, and he's been able to get me on a couple of shows. And it just so happens that all the shows are back south.
That
So
is amazing. And so like you said, it's like you have to listen. And sometimes I heard you mention this earlier. Sometimes that voice is not loud. It's not as loud as you might think it's going to be. And so you have to be really being still is what it is. It is what it looks like sometimes is being still so you can hear that still,
oh,
small, quiet voice.
because my sister would tell you guys, audience, that I was a hot head at one time. I just whatever was in my emotion, I would just run. And she used to tell me that she used to say, "Little bro, sometimes you just gotta sit there." And it's not, you're right, it's not the loudest voice, because sometimes the loudest voice is distraction, because it
Oh,
doesn't want you to
come
hear
on.
that small voice.
Say that.
You got
Yes.
to sit there, and when you hear that voice that you know is calm and is going to get you to the place that you really need to be, that is the right one. The one that tells you to go off and this and that, that's the one that really wants to destroy you. The one that says, "Hey, let's sit back for a moment and think, what's really going on? Why do people want?
Yes.
Why is the atmosphere want me to act this way? Why is it pushing me this way?
Oh,
Let me go back and not go there, because they want me to do something to get a reaction out of me, or something's going to happen." And I had to learn that. I mean, and I'm old now. I wish I would have learned that when I was younger, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like my saying is always you don't get it till the minute you get it, and that's when you're supposed to get it, and that's right on time. So age is, because we all are constantly learning and constantly growing. You know what the people say, if you're not growing, you're dead. And so we just have to be grateful for all of the learnings that we keep getting, all of the growth, and it's all beautiful. And I want to talk about, because now you are a Cali boy, like you are a California native,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
saw you looking. Connie says, sending light and love to you, LaMarr, from one fellow artist to another. Nice to see you're still sharing your gift with the world.
Oh, tell us a
Your
thank you.
musical gift with the world. Yes, absolutely. And it's funny because you've been doing music since, tell us, how long? When did you get started in this?
Well, I can't. Well, since I started doing plays when I was a kid, and was doing singing and doing recitals. Um, I came the weird way. Um, Even though I do R&B music, laughing sis, I actually started like a cappella choirs. I I was being trained as a kid to do like opera, no no no, fortune fortune, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And I used to get teased and beat up. I used to fight because they'd be like, oh, and and I didn't really know how to do R&B, and I grew up around a lot of ACDC,
Well, I was in their video, so it's okay.
You know, so it was that kind of music that I grew up with. And the kids was like, you ain't listen to no LTD. You don't listen to no, what I'm saying, emotions. What's wrong with you? But that's just, I went to a private school. That's the kind of music I listened to. And so I was doing a cappella choir and stuff. And then from there, I started doing plays, musicals. Started doing musical plays in Palo Alto, California, and in Menlo Park Theater Guild.
Okay.
And I really did not want, I didn't think I could really sing. One of my aunties told me I sounded like Teddy Pendergrass. She's like, oh, you be yelling and screaming like Teddy. So I thought that my voice was not really a sing. But every time I tried out for a musical, I got almost the lead or close to the lead. But I wanted to be like Denzel Washington. I wanted to be theatrical. I wanted to be Macbeth. I wanted to be Midsummer's Night's Dream. I wanted to be something like that. And I don't know, it just, people every time would gravitate towards me singing. And then I just found this out. My The kids that I grew up with said, did you ever realize that when we used to be on the back of the bus singing, we would make you start singing and you would start singing and then we would shut up. And I never realized that I was the only one really singing. And I was like, really? They said, yeah, because that's how we would get you to sing. Because if you thought all of us were singing together, you would sing, and then everyone would be like, shut up, listen to him. And I didn't. And my friend Terry Suo, my Korean best friend, he actually wanted to start a band when I was a kid, when we were like 15. And I was just like, okay, but I didn't know that he was like, you had a voice back then, but I didn't know I had a voice.
You
I
didn't
didn't.
recognize the gift.
No, I just thought, because I was thinking, I'm loud, I'm strong, but you know what I'm saying? But I want to be an actor. I want to be like Denzel. I want to be like, and then I love theater. My first play I saw professional was Dreamgirls. So,
Oh,
yeah, grandma took me to that. So I was like, I want to do what they do.
yeah. Well, it's really funny though. Now, when you said that the first play you saw was Dreamgirls, I so all of a sudden saw James Thunder Early. I saw you. I just saw that flash in front of me. The exact. You could have done that. You should still audition if that ever
I
comes
was
around. You should do
stepping
it.
to that side. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Gonna take me right. Oh man, when I saw, and then when they got on the steps, and every time they stepped, it lit up. I
Yes.
was,
Oh my God.
I was like 9 years old. I was like, I want to do that. Oh my God, I want to do that. So
Yes.
yeah,
Well, you know my story. I got to be there at the very beginning when it was being workshopped, and then when it was, I was at the opening night of Dreamgirls on Broadway because Vanessa
yeah,
was in it.
telling your age.
Yeah,
Ah,
and so that is one of my favorites. And then I have, what'd you say?
telling your age.
Yeah, oh, and then I do it all the time. And then there was also, um, with that came, well, my in my house there is the picture in the living room with the guys leaning back. It's four guys leaning back, and I called that "Step Into the Bad Side" because that so reminds me of that. That number right there was
Yeah.
just. I did musical theater
And
in
then
high
remember,
school.
and while you were there, remember across the street, I think it was A Soldier Story,
No,
and no, it was It Ain't Misbehaving.
Sophisticated Ladies.
So that's it. Sophisticated Ladies across the street,
Yep,
and
and that's where Miss Phyllis.
yes.
Yes, Miss Phyllis Hyman, and I got to make jewelry for that beautiful diva. I used to
Yeah.
get to know all the backstage door men and go and be backstage at all the shows. I'll never forget in Dreamgirls, it was Mr. Joseph. He was amazing. I don't know.
And
Well,
I know and I know with that smile and what you said, you got backstage.
you know
Probably to this day, people are telling me, your sister was in Dreamgirls. Like, no, she. But I saw her backstage. She used to be there. She would eat with us and everything. That's
and sell her jewelry. Absolutely, 100%. What did Connie say? She says, I was raised on R&B Caribbean music. Yes. Oh, and 70s soft rock. Now, 70s soft rock, is that like
that's like Sticks.
Fugees and
That's
stuff?
like Toto. I'm trying to think. I think there was whatever, something Breeze, Stillwater. Whatever. That's that kind of music, I believe.
Okay. I'm thinking what I can hear is nobody like da, 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 harder da, 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 and harder to climb. What is that?
No. Oh, that's the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees. That's the Bee Gees, right? Okay. So is
Yes,
that
yes.
soft rock? Is that soft
That's
rock?
well,
It's kind of soft rock, right?
soft rock slash some of their songs with disco.
Oh, well, yes. Oh, yes, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So Connie says you definitely sound like Teddy Pendergrass. In fact, my mom had the 8-track of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Absolutely. Girl, everybody's mama had that, okay?
Now,
For
I'm going to tell the
sure.
audience, I actually do a Teddy Pendergrass, and you helped with it. I actually do a Teddy Pendergrass review. I do a Teddy Pendergrass tribute for
And did
him.
not want to do it. Let me just say that. Did not want to do it. Had to be not just talked into it, almost clobbered over the head by myself and our lovely Chantel
Yeah.
Denise, who at the time,
Okay, at the time, I was like, okay, I want to do it, but then I didn't want to get stuck in a bubble of being Teddy Penner, because
right,
I admit I have found I've listened to some Teddy. Now this is a true story, you guys. I was trying to do a song. I was trying to mimic Teddy a little bit, and there's a album called Teddy Live. So my cousin Erica came over to the place I was working on the music, and we were playing Teddy Live. And she said, "Oh, Negro, no, that ain't making it. No, you think you said no, that you ain't that sound like that don't sound like Teddy right there." And I said, "That ain't me." She said, "Well, yes, it is. I know your voice." And I said, "That's the real Teddy Pendergrass." And she was like, "Are you real for real?" I was like, "That's Teddy Live. That's not."
right, right,
That's when I was like, "Oh my God, I do have that sound." And I was saying to myself, I didn't want to be pigeonholed and all I could do is Teddy
right.
song. Yeah.
But honestly, you had already proven yourself because you, for a long time. I mean, the one that for me it means everything in the world to me, and that was the Otis Redding one that you do, Try Low Tenderness, and you definitely you just have that soulful, raspy, guttural, like kind of sound that like it makes you stop and listen and sit back and then think like, and for me, of course, I'll have to share that song
Don't make
you
me
sang
cry
it all
now.
the time, but you sang it at my 50th birthday party for
Yeah.
William and I, and we have to tell the people how we met too and how we became brothers and sisters. But you sang that at my 50th and you sang it and dedicated it to William and I. You had to sit on the floor in the middle of the floor in 2 chairs, and your commentary was hilarious because he was singing "Try a Little Tenderness," and his commentary was like, and I know the phone because I get the phone call. Sean, did you balance the checkbook? Sean Ray, baby, did you? And then you get the call from me. William said, I got to balance the checkbook. Why he always?
Oh man,
Did
I missed that.
you have to go shopping? Did you have to go shopping? So, those of course were great memories. And then at my 60th, now I'm really telling my age, 2 years ago, you sang at you sang it there. And actually you and I sang together at that party too. And then you dedicated that one to us in the same way. But we didn't know how much that was going to mean to us later. Because that was our last big shindig, our last big time that we were all together and really got to just love up on one another. It was such an amazing surprise. The surprise wedding vow renewal that you didn't even know about.
I didn't. But can I interject on something? Not that you say that.
Yes, please do.
One thing I'm gonna say about William, and knowing William was a godsend to a lot of us, not just to you, but and I said this at his memorial, and I meant this, and my whole life I always remember this. My big bro taught me how to be a man. It's true. I don't care. If I needed some counsel, he could do it. He made me proud to see him, and what made me proud was he would teach you how to just simple things. LaMarr, did you open the door for the ladies? Oh shoot, no, I didn't. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where it just became you, you know what I'm saying? So you know how everyone all talking about, oh, protect your woman, protect your. One thing I'm gonna tell you about William Brinkley. William Brinkley taught you how to be a man and how to protect women and how to treat women and how to and he's one of the reasons why you know what I'm saying, he would not allow me with my sister, even if I got upset in front of them, he'd be like, hey, they looking, you got to watch this. He would be, you know what I'm saying, I could tell him, and I could tell him my deepest secrets, and he would act like he didn't even know, like, whatever, come on, let's go out to eat, we're going to, and it just he was just epitome of what a man was, and how men are supposed to treat women, and how you're supposed to love women, not even if you don't want to be, how you're supposed to treat them. And and his mom, everyone he came in contact with loved him, and all the women especially loved him because he was such a gentleman, and he made sure. I mean, I'm be honest with you. If he could, if he was feeling good, he'd make sure if my mama, he'd make sure everybody got walked to the car, or he'd make sure walk them to the car. It's dark. We got, that is ways that we protect. No offense, everyone. I get in trouble for saying it, but physical ain't gonna protect your woman. Might get you killed. Might get something happen to you because somebody might do something back to you doing that. But us watching over, loving them, seeing what they're doing, those are ways that we actually protect and care for our women. Getting them a chair, getting, you know what I'm saying, making sure let me tell you, if it was raining and she didn't have an umbrella, that man would take his jacket off, put it over her, and be drenched wet.
Yes.
Am I lying?
You're right. No, you are 100% right. That was my baby. Yes. He did.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love that. In fact, you actually met him and had a conversation with him before I did, I think, because you and I were singing in Vegas on a show. Both of us we were the only two from LA. And afterwards you came over and you were like, is that your, what did you ask him?
Well, no. Remember, he came to me and said, you know what? You're amazing. I need you to meet an amazing woman. And she's about to see you. So he came while you was going up there. He said, she's in the bedroom. Right. You can go in the bedroom. Me and Anthony got in a fight. All right, so let me see my. I'll tell you about it.
Behave.
So what happened is that he came over to me and you were about to get up. He goes, "You got to hear her. She's amazing." She goes, "I love to hear you singing." He goes, "I need you to meet her and I need you to help her out and you work with her." And I said, "It's your woman." And he looked at me. And at the time, y'all wasn't officially a couple. Y'all
We
just
weren't married. We were a couple, but we weren't married.
nah, yeah, but you really wasn't a couple. Remember?
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Was he
Oh,
was just
that's right, because we went there to take Jillian. That's
yeah.
right.
So y'all were just, but he told me he was like, "I'd like to be," and I was like, "Okay." And then, and then here comes my sis, just the smile, the love, the warmth, and then we found out we had my grandmother, I have an adopted grandmother named Linda Hopkins, and
Right.
we had her in common. And she's like, "Linda's your grandma." I was like, "Oh my God, you got to come over to the house. She's got to see
Well,
you."
no, but wait. Now remember, I didn't know who it was at that time. You said when we get back to LA, we need to get together. I want you to meet my grandmother. We need to do a show together. You would love my
Yes,
grandmother.
yes,
That's what
yes.
it was. And then we went to that place in Glendale, and I was there. And then here she came through the door, and I'm like, he said, "Oh, I want you to meet my grandmother." I was like, I looked at her, she looked at me, and we were like, "Yeah." Yes. And I had known Miss Linda
Glendale. Oh
20
my
years.
God. Do you remember
Yeah.
Glendale? Oh man.
I knew her 20 years ago when I did my pageant. She was my music mentor. She taught me that blues song, baby. Yes. And I
Yeah.
won. So there
So
you
you
have
know, and then I know, and so I have to admit, and then even the way he courted my sis, he was a gentleman. He was always a gentleman, always, you know what I'm saying? And it's just and I think that I really feel that I'm sad he's not here anymore for my sis, but even and I don't get mad at me, sis, for telling people this, but even on his deathbed, he was thinking about my sis. I mean, just things he did, you just go, man,
yeah.
just he
Yeah.
thought about her.
Yeah.
And it was COVID and we couldn't go. And I was telling John, whisper in his ear. We got to go in his ear. We got to whisper this in his ear. We won't let us. And, the nurse was like, he said, "Give me my phone." And he wouldn't pay the bills. Who does something?
He
Who,
did.
I mean, that's just, to me, that's a selfless thing because most people are like, "I ain't worried about no bills. I ain't worried about what's going on. I'm just worried about me surviving, me living." And I'm like, I got to take care of my baby, make sure if I'm not here, my baby's going to be okay.
Yeah, he did. And I know. And God is just so amazing in how he chose William for me. And I miss him, of course, every single minute. But I just take so much, I get so much joy in knowing that I had a man who loved me that way. I
Because
was
there's
blown
men that
away.
tried to get you. There are other
Uh-huh.
men to get my sis. There are other men that tried to get my sis.
Yeah,
But
that
God,
was,
he needed. Yes.
yes. God was like, and that's so funny because people say to me, "Oh, you're young, you're beautiful, you're fine, you're a man," and I'm like, they'll go, "Well, look, isn't he good looking?" I'm like, "Yeah, but he don't look like he run no bath water."
Mm.
Because it's hard to beat who he was for me. And that just really speaks to it was all God. Connie says y'all got me crying about balancing the checkbook.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
My sister Michelle Morbell says, "I love a man who truly knows how to treat and love a woman." Absolutely. And Michelle, I know you know, sis, because I know you had one too. Connie says, "What an awesome way to pay tribute to William. LaMarr, Deuce, Lubin, you're a classy man." Oh, I love that. I
thank you.
love when my people love my people.
Yes, Sean is amazing. Yes, my sis is
Thank
amazing.
you, Michelle. Well, my brother, so we were talking about this Southern soul and I wonder now, I actually have I wonder if I can pull up this put your ballot in my box. I am going to try to share for the first time in the history of Boss Talk. I'm going to try to share my screen and pull up that video.
Now look, y'all, it's a double entendre. You're gonna see some booty in here. Don't worry, but but let me tell them what's
All right,
going
go
on.
ahead. Preface.
I woke up in the middle of the night. I decided to write this song, and it's about voting, but
Okay.
it's about a woman. But when you see it, you'll understand. So it's called "Put Your Ballot in My Box."
Well,
And
here's the thing. But here's the thing I have to say. You, Mama Linda, was the queen of the. I got to put my French stank on it. Double entendre. Because what was it? The Kitchen Man. What were some of the other
black drawers on?
Yes, meet me with your black drawers on. So I'm sure that you got it honest, but we grown, so I'm gonna play it. Here we go. Let me see. Share screen. Okay. Oh, look at me. I'm all right. Can y'all see that?
Uh-oh.
She said, put your belly in my box. Yeah. No matter how big or small, pretty girl, give me what you got. I'll give it all. Yeah. She said, you don't mind if it's big or small. Just make sure you make the right call. If you don't mind, make sure you check the right spot. Side of the line and circle. She said, put your belly in my. Just wanna make sure you get it. I was at my lady about town, out on my way to city, outside train now, no matter how big or small, give me what you got. My face you jump out love. It's the proposition to feel my mission. We both got hot, that's when I put it in her box. She said, put your ballot, baby, in my eyes. She said, no matter how big or small, give me what you got. She said, please put your ballot in my box. Yeah, just wanna make sure you get it. Give me your best. Yeah. Make sure you lick it before you stick it.
Wow.
Mom is on there. She's like, no, she didn't play that. As y'all can see, it's a double, but it really was because I just wanted something fun to get out there about voting. Everybody was tripping about voting, and everyone's talking about the ballots and the boxes, and I was like, you know what? God was like, make this, and I'm glad I did because and it's all in fun, but it has a good meaning to it, and that's why I put up the voting and and stuff like that, and the propositions and stuff like that, and so. basically in Southern Soul, they sing, you know, they talk about grits and ham and bacon and, you know, Southern Soul ladies and stuff. And so I've been working, that's what I've been working on. And I went down there to do those songs and do some Johnny Taylor and some stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh yes. And it is such a distinct sound. It definitely is R&B, but the sound is so distinct. And I so get what you mean when you say that Southern Soul. Because, and when you mention like Johnny Taylor, it's also that like blues groove, you know?
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's my jam. I love that.
Like Sir Charles Jones, you've got now a guy who's coming up named King George. You know, they're doing, to me it's R&B, but they have that, you know, it's kind of like a bluesy R&B-ish kind of,
right.
And they sing it, and it's that more of that guttural singing than the nasal singing of the pop and the R&B and the new pop. Right. It's like they sing out their gut, and I'm a gut singer. So works for me.
Sure.
Yeah. That works for me. And so I got a new song coming out called Dance Floor, and then I got another song that's called Just Like That. That's a dance song, and we're about to do a video for it. And I think people are going to really like it, you know, because it's called Just Like That, you know, do it like that. So,
well, I love that, you know,
cities and stuff.
I'm sorry.
I call it different states and have them do their own little line dance and everything.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, because it puts you in the mind of like the stepping and all of that. That is really that's that, you know, you got to have that African Black, like soul, spiritual. Yeah, you know, you got all of that wrapped up in there. It's wonderful. I love it, and that song is hilarious and it's cute. So,
and let me tell you, I think I told you before, but who really, I got to give her props. I know she might not be watching, but if she ever sees it, I give her flowers. Tammy Mack from KGLH heard it and said, I need an MP3 on it right now. And she did that, and I got 15,000 views alone when Tammy Mack put it. People started going to my page and stuff like that. And because of that, a guy named DJ Khaled Remix heard it. And that's the guy who's producing me and working with me now, getting me to these different southern states and stuff like that now. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Got it. Well, you know, it's interesting because gosh, wow. Because what was it? Oh gosh, I was gonna think. Tammy is from Houston, Texas.
Yes, she is.
And so she hurried up and recognized that. So I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yep, she's from the third. I think she went to what school was it? Jack Yates. That's right.
Oh, that's right.
That's the same school that what's his name? The one that was choked to death by the police.
Rodney King?
No.
Oh, Earl Garner?
No. The one in Minneapolis.
Oh, George Floyd recently.
George Floyd, you know, he went to there. He went to Yates as well.
Oh, really? I didn't.
And my mother's mother was the first dark-skinned Miss Jack Yates, 1940.
Get out! See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they were used to having light-skinned women as the queens, and my grandmother was the first one that was dark-skinned that actually won.
That's amazing. See, I didn't know that about my girl, Mama Linda. No wonder she was so excited about helping me with the pageant.
Oh yeah. You know, and you know what's really trip? Grandma really thought, you know, she thought because of her skin tone, she told me when she was younger, she didn't feel that she was very pretty. Growing up, she thought because of her skin tone. But she would have men come onto her, and she didn't understand, like, well, what they want, you know, what they trying to do with me. And I said, because Grandma, you were gorgeous. You just, and I said, and somebody got in your head, you know what I'm saying? Because she's from New Orleans originally, that, oh, you know, you got to be Creole, you got to be light skinned. And I was like, and I said, you know, what's so crazy? This is what I told her was so crazy. I said, the people that mistreated you all of those people and the people that you couldn't go in the front door, all that. And later in life, those are the people that would be in our kitchen table eating their gumbo and,
How about
and drinking Piper High Sec with her. And she never answered it for me, but I always asked her, because I told her I wanted to write a book one day. I said, Grandma, what does it feel like to have the same people that told you you couldn't walk in the front of the, because when she did the casinos, when I took her to Vegas, we would always go to the kitchen. I mean, what we doing in the kitchen?
Isn't that funny how that...
Yeah, I was thinking like, God, you want to eat again? And she'd be like, well, no, I know all the people in the kitchen staff because even though she said her name would be on the billboard, she couldn't go to the door. She had to come back from the kitchen to get to the stage. And so they would eat the food for them and, all that kind of stuff. And that was just, I just said, boy, we are standing on the backs of giants, of people that, man, and we don't, and what's really sad, with them trying to take away history, real history, we need to know these things. We need to know what it was like so that we don't never go back to it. And to know that these people sacrificed so that I can live the way I want to live now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's so true. And the stories that they tell, and then like we get to watch some of these movies that take us back, into those things. Like even just watching the Aretha docuseries. I was watching that on the plane coming back from Trinidad a couple of weeks ago. And I was and I feel like I definitely am an Aretha fan and knew, Aretha, but I think back, I was a little girl when Aretha was coming through and was doing her stuff. And so to think that that was happening in my lifetime, that she couldn't be going through the, in the best places and honor the way that her talent merited is what I guess I'm trying to say. And
well, this is what I trip off of. I trip off of because even in my era, I did not know. So I didn't know I didn't know, like I wasn't born, like I was born after Martin Luther King passed away. So he was a hero, a folklore hero to us. Mm-hmm. But I just was born a couple of years after he died. So when I think about it, I'm like, you think like, oh, we've had hundreds of years of freedom and we'd be able to do this and that. And then you realize that it really has been a short amount of time that people have been able to see eye to eye. And you think the way we live now, I couldn't have lived back then because I can't see you telling me I can't go somewhere. I can't see you telling me I can't drink out of somewhere. I can't. Now, I did experience that when I went to college. I went to school in Louisiana, Southern University. And I see it firsthand. And here's this California boy, like, everybody here. Yeah, I'm partying. I'm like, this is college. And they're telling me, well, don't go here, don't go there. And I'm like, why? And I'm going to tell you, when I went to college, I used to go to Tiger because LSU was across the way, Southern and LSU. And they had this place called Tiger Town. And they had this place, I think, called Patty O'Brien's or something. And on Tuesdays, it would be like green beer night. And they would sell beer for like 25 cents. And when I got to Louisiana, I couldn't drink. I was 17. But when I turned 18, back then you could be 18 and drink. So I go over there. One day, this guy says to me at school, he said, Lamar, you be taking them guys over there to LSU and all that kind of stuff. You ain't supposed to be in Tiger Town. I said, why? I said, the beer's only 25 cents. Over here, we got to pay at least $1. I'd rather pay 25 cents. And he said,
any day. The math works, right?
Yeah. He's like, oh, you like spit. And you must love to drink spit. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, have you ever noticed that whenever black people come to the, no offense, but this is really what happened. He said, you ever notice they would sell so many beers, they would line the beers up and already have a maid on the counter. So many people come. But whenever black people came, because we would come, they would always give us the beers that were on the counter. And so after I heard that, I told the guy, I don't want that. Give me one from the spout. He goes, I don't have time to do that. But I just watched him give this guy a fresh beer from the spout. How you do it? And he argued me down where he actually called security on me. and they were got kicking me out. And I said, "What are you kicking me? All I'm asking for is a fresh beer." And then I realized, oh my God, this dude might be right about what he was saying. And a week after that, I went to St. James Parish, and a friend of ours was in the back, and I went into a gas station, and the man told me that my ID was fake. And I said, no, it's not. And so I had my friend from Detroit come in, and he told him it was fake. And the friend who was driving to him home was in the back sleeping. He got up and he saw the gas station, and he said, what are we doing here? We said, we was trying to get some gas and some beer or something. And he goes, no, let's go before the police get here. And so, we from California, he from Michigan, Detroit. And we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you didn't see all those coon signs and I go, yeah, y'all eat raccoon, right? Y'all eat raccoon. And inside the store, it had these raccoons with the tails, and they would have a bullseye in it. And then they had these little things, these little wooden sticks saying coon hunting season, and it just, I just thought like, well, they eat raccoon, coon hunting season. And he said, no, you the coon. I said, oh.
And you better get to stepping real quick.
And it messed me up because when I came back home to California, I stayed in that time. I think I stayed for 3 years. Then when I got back to California, I'll be honest with you, I was my mother. I had an incident where my mother really got mad at me because I kind of went off on a worker at McDonald's. I didn't like the way she was talking to me. I didn't like the way she treated me, and I told her, I don't want you to do my food. I don't want you to give. I don't want. And there was a black girl in the back, and I said, I want her to make my food, and I want her. I'd rather give the money to her. And my mother was like, "You're being rude." And I said, "You know what, Mom? I'm having a flashback from Louisiana." I said, because there, I said one thing I liked about there. I said there, the people, and it happened to me in a couple places. They'll tell you they don't like you, and that if you're going to eat there, you got to be careful. Like, oh, you never know what's going to hold up in your food. But when you get home, you don't know who is the one that would do that to you.
Right.
And for a long time,
that is the thing that's the big difference about the North and the South, right? In the South, it's real clear. But in the North, there's that hidden racism and that tricky kind of stuff that you don't expect. So you tend to be like a little bit apprehensive. And so, and the interesting thing that I want to say, mental health, you have PTSD.
You're right. And that was PTSD when that happened to me, because I was now I with black people now and Hispanic people, brown people, I'm a part of all them. I've got a little Hispanic in me, I got Creole, I got, mutt really. But the thing is that we really have PTSD because you just, especially with, no offense, those people out there that like him, but when the Trump era came along, we started seeing people for who they really were, and people started, and it's still to this day, people were coming out that you thought were really in line with you, that weren't in line with you, and you're like, wait a minute, we've been friends all this time, and I never knew. And then you start finding out from your counterparts, your friends, that, well, yeah, my parents used to talk about black people when we get in the house. I said, but I used to go over to your house, and I used to hang out. Your parents didn't love me, like, oh, we love LaMarr. I was always that, and the first time I ever was called the N-word was by a Hispanic person. And it was my best friend. I was in Sunnyvale, California, and his name was Juan. My mother used to always cook for the neighborhood. You know how my mama is. She let the kids be like, God, we ain't got that much food, but go ahead, I'll make, stretch it. And Juan told my mother, she's like, Miss Shirley, LaMarr, we eat over here all the time. Can LaMarr come to our house to eat? And my mother said, you have to ask your mother first. We went over to their house. We lived in these condos, and his mom was in the kitchen, and his mom said, hey, he goes, Mom, LaMarr going to come over and eat dinner with us tonight. And she said, I'm not having that N-word in my house. I never heard the word before. All I knew is I just started crying, and I ran home. I ran home crying, and Mom was like, who hit you? Who hit you? And I said, no, she called me. And my mother went over there, and the mother, I guess, got scared, and she left. And my mother talked to the husband, because my mother always talked to the husband, never to the wife. And in a month, they moved out in the dark. At like one day they were there, and they just moved. And what happened was that the neighborhood found out what happened, and the neighborhood, it was the Bay Area. They was pissed. The neighbors were like, "What? We heard what happened," and
Wow.
and it was just that at that point, I had grown up in a society where we knew we were different colors. We knew we had melanin in us, but I mean, but you know, I remember telling my great grandmother I wanted to be the president of the United States, and she said, "Why you got that boy talking foolish? That boy talking foolish and stuff."
Right.
I didn't understand why she would think it would be crazy for me, because you know, at the time as a kid, I did a thing about President Carter. I loved Jimmy Carter, and I was like, I want to be a president one day. And it just tripped me out when people would say, "Oh, but
Right.
you can't." And like, what do you
Right.
mean I can't be? Like,
Right.
why couldn't I be
When
president?
came 2008. Hold that thought, brother. I'm having a momentary crisis. I have a client locked out. So hold on. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to
Okay.
be right. No, Belinda, you're out there. Can you go open the door, please? I see Belinda in the chat. I think she's here. Can you open the door? Excuse me. Hold that thought. Sing for him, LaMarr.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that thought. Well, my new song. I got a song. It's called "Just Like That," and it's gonna. You guys can dance to it. It goes, gonna go up, gonna go back to the right now. Now take it back. Now gently roll, girl, just like that. Now what you're doing is called just like that. Now come over here with your fine self and see you jiggling to the left. If you want to get fancy, take it low all the way to the flow. And it goes, just like that, just like that, just like that. So I got that one, y'all, and I got a song called "Dance Floor." Um, um, it's basically it's just talking about when I see you on the dance floor. I almost lost my mind when I see you on the dance floor. Okay.
Yes, Belinda, I see that you're at home.
How'd you get home that quick?
She told you she lived right down the street. So the door wasn't locked, by the way, y'all. But anyway, Belinda said that that song was nice.
All right.
So I missed it. But back to what we're talking about, you know, and I'm sorry for the interruption, boss talkers. Real life happens. But I think that, you know, when you grow up with melanin, okay, black and otherwise, BIPOC, black, indigenous, people of color, you have these experiences that a lot of people don't know happen. A lot of Caucasian people or people who don't have melanin, they don't recognize that these things happen to you. And then many of us don't even realize the impact that those kinds of things have on us later in life. You know, I have a similar story.
Like I've been told, when you're on the phone, people be like, "Oh, your sister's white." I'm like, "No, she's black." But you have that, that tone where people go, "Oh, your sister's white." No, she's black. You know,
Right,
and when I was growing up, because I didn't talk this ghetto when I was a kid. I'd be like, "Mother," I'd be like, "That's my grandmother," and and even when I sang, I didn't sing the way I sing now. I used to, because I did opera and a cappella choir. I was told, no, you don't slur your words.
right.
You keep them out. You don't do the vowels and
Yeah,
I, hey, A, B, that's how you
right,
sing.
right. It's all very precise.
Precise, and that's how. And so, but then when you get teased, you get talked about.
Oh,
People,
yes.
people call your names. We do that, and we really have to learn as a people that it doesn't matter. It really, what's so crazy is like, I stayed in Japan for a while, and I stayed in England, and when I stayed in England, I got a guy told me something that was really always stuck with me. I was like 17, 18. I was over there the first time, and he said, I was telling him, I said, "Oh, so are you British?" And he said, "No, I'm Barbadian." And I said, "Oh, but you live in England, so you're British, right?" He goes, "No, I'm Barbadian." And he goes, and I said, "Well, what is my cousin Karen?" He goes, "Oh, he's British. I said, well, no, he's Puerto Rican and black, or Puerto Rican and Persian. He said, no, he's British. He was born in England. And I said, huh? And he said, well, you people, America are the only people that call themselves colors. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, he goes, if I was born in, he goes, even though I live in England, I was born in Barbados, and we came to this country.
Right.
So I'm an English citizen now, but I'm Barbadian. He said, Americans never say, I'm just American. They always say, oh, I'm black, oh, I'm Chinese, oh, I'm white, you know what I'm saying, I'm this, I'm that. He said that when we go places, we never just say, I'm American. Or they'll say, Black American.
Right.
Or saying,
but look at the history. That's why, is because of that history. We were never allowed to be just American, right? We were singled out, as many people, you know, who are different.
You know, but when you go overseas, they don't really see our color. They see our accent and the way we act. And people say, they go, oh, I could tell you're American the way you were acting. When I was in Japan, they would say, when I see some of the people from other countries, oh, I figured you was American. Oh yeah, right. The way you act, the way you look, and the way you talk. Oh yeah.
And one of the girls who did the TEDx talk with me, that was her topic was about going overseas and really recognizing that she could create herself as just a woman, not just a Black woman, or an American woman, not a Black American woman. And so you're very right about how for them it is your nationality and not your skin color. And here it's the very opposite. It's the history that stands beyond that, because I recognize that when I think I was 6 when I got called the N-word, and I went to pick up a girl who I had been going to school with, went to kindergarten with, played with all summer. We agreed that my dad would take us to school the first day, and we went there to pick her up, and I went and knocked on the door, and she came out, and I said, hi, you know, we're here to pick you up or whatever. And she's like, oh, I can't go to school with you. And I'm like, why? And she said, because my mommy said I can't play with N-word. And I, like you, I cried. I was like, what is that? You know, it must not be good, right? It must not be good. Oh my gosh. And my dad took me home and we looked it up in the dictionary. And I think it said at that time, and mind you, this is 66, it said something about an ignorant person. And my father said, well, we always talk about how smart you are. Are you ignorant? And I said, no, Daddy. He goes, then that's not you. And you don't have to ever own that. And so it also has everything to do with the people who surround you during those wonder years when you are being formed into these grown-up people. And, you know, like you said, they think I'm white. I was talking to a guy yesterday that I was called for therapy, and I was going to book him. And I said, you know, is there any, what is it that you're looking for in a therapist? And I ask people that rather than say, do you want a Black therapist? Do you want a white therapist? Do you want a green therapist? You know, whatever. I just say, what is it that you're looking for in a therapist? And he said, well, I was going to book him with someone, and I said her name, and he said, is she a Black therapist? And I said, yes, she is. And he said, and well, you're not Black, right? I said, I absolutely am.
Well, you know,
he said, you don't sound like it. And it was funny to me because I hadn't heard that in a long time. But growing up, that was all of it. She talked like a white girl. Look at her. She talked like a white girl. And I'd be like, well, what a white girl talk like? You. Oh. You know? So there's just, it's just all this craziness in the world. What did Gwendolyn say? That Southern living under Jim Crow was, Southern living under Jim Crow was awful. Absolutely.
You know, and the thing is, because of my age group, I never got to experience that. And I mean, and we don't give people their props that that lived that life. And and I think that, and I hate that they're talking about, oh, don't teach about it. We should know about it, because so it won't never come back again. And I'll be honest with you. Like my mother said, I'd be dead. I would have been dead. He said, the way you talk, your mouth, you know, and I love that we got to see the little biopic, and I love that they didn't just put it on what's his name? The one that was killed. That was oh God, I can't think. You know, the one that was They killed him. They roped the tire and they put him in the water and
Oh,
everything.
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till, thank you. I'm sorry. I
Saw
love
that.
that they
Yeah.
talked about his mother and they talked about how strong she was and what she did, because we always hear about Emmett Till, but we don't know the actual story of what happened with Emmett Till. And you know what I'm saying? And coming to find out that he was, he was a little, I guess you can't say that word no more, but he wasn't the sharpest kid.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
just learning
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
learning disabilities. And the thing is that I can see a kid with learning disabilities thinking he's having fun, just having fun, and to go through that,
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, he was a northern boy. So he had never been, and of course they lied. That woman lied right out of her face, because none of what she said happened. And that's the same thing that happened again with the Oklahoma Black
The
Wall
master.
Street. Black Wall Street, that Oklahoma massacre. That was over the same thing. A little boy found himself, a young boy found himself on the elevator with this woman. And when the doors opened, he saw these people and he took off running, and they chased after him. And the woman said, no, 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 he didn't do anything. She said it from the very beginning. But see, they didn't care. They just needed a reason. They needed a reason to go and destroy what Black Wall Street was, what it stood for. And that was another documentary that was heartbreaking, but so very much needed, for people to see. I spoke at my therapist organization, and at the time, it was during that time that was being aired. And I asked, like, how many of you even knew that there was such a thing as Black Wall Street? And I've learned since then that there were other places that happened to, and a young woman I was listening to, when they said that a lot of these cities that had these amazing, well-developed, fully commerced Black cities were destroyed, and some of them are underground. They put a river there, and that if you go there now, you will find beneath all of that water these lost cities that were destroyed, that were our cities. And see,
I know. I got one more question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
Well, we keep being told, though, that we can't manage that kind of thing, that we're no good at that we whatever. And see, that's just absolutely not true.
So can I say something before? I know we're over our time, but can I just bring up one more thing?
Yes, please.
Because I was talking to, now my sister told you guys, I have a therapist of my own now, because my sister talked me into getting a therapist, and I have to thank you, sis. It has helped me immensely. So Black people out there, look, therapy does work. Trust me. I know we're talking, don't be telling our business, but therapy does work. Now, I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I had a lot of, she goes, you didn't sleep for 2, and I had a lot of anxiety about this. I watched the hearing with Ketanji and Ketanji Brown Jackson. And my therapist is not my complexion. It was good for us because she didn't understand what my angst was and why I was so worried about the hearing. Like, just don't watch it. And I said, I'm trying not to watch it, but I said, but when you hear them, and this is what I was saying, when you hear them berate this woman who's done so well, who I couldn't live in her, I couldn't even step in I couldn't even put my pinky in her shoe. The things that she's done, and then to berate her because she is a woman of color, and to say, the things that they said that were like, huh? Like the 1619 Project. Oh, well, you spoke up and said,
Marsha Republican from I can't remember, but I wanted to just
Now that's when I said, if she doesn't make it, that's when we got to protect. We got to boycott. We got to do something. You got Clarence Thomas sleeping with the enemy. You know what I'm saying? He is in the Supreme Court, and it's so funny. He's the only one that voted to give President Trump, you know what I'm saying, the information that he wanted you don't have to do all this. So I really do think there needs to be some kind of censorship in there. And we need to protect this woman, because to me, um, the decorum that she had, what she did, I would have lost it. I would have been like, who are you talking to? What you talking about? Wait a minute. I ain't see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have an IQ of 20, I have an IQ of 163. Why are you even discussing this with me?
Don't even step to me. And it's so funny because that was the day after Vanessa's birthday party. And so we did the after party and we stayed overnight and we had a morning watch party for that. And it was amazing. But to be in the room with all of these Black women watching that and watching that woman, I was going to remember her last name and I can't right now, but I know her first name was Marsha. And she brought up all these things that had nothing to do with this woman's character, with this woman's ability, with her being able to sit on that Supreme Court. And so the idea then is, if you are Black, you are not able to stand up and represent causes that are for the betterment of Black people without being considered that you will be biased and that you are racist against white people. And that was just so annoying. It just made me so angry. It really.
Well, Cinema, the Democrat, and Manchin said the Democrat, he was going to vote. Now Cinema's thinking about not voting for her because, I've got some questions. But we know those two ain't really Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that we've been had. We know that they're infiltrators. I just wish we could just be real with it and say, hey, and that's what I was saying earlier about just let it be what it is. You don't like us, that's fine, but let us know so that we know what we're coming up against. Oh yeah, before I go, I do have to tell you that there's a gentleman, his last name is Walker, and even though I don't live in Georgia, I'm going to be helping him with his campaign. I'm going to be doing a couple of concerts in Georgia for him. He is going against Margaret Avery Taylor.
Oh.
So my best friend moved to Georgia, and this is funny, and bought a house, impeccable house in Douglasville, Georgia. And while he was there, he's all excited, house is nice, everything. And then one day he says, oh my God, LaMarr, Margaret Taylor Greene, whatever her name is, Margaret, whatever Taylor, is who represents me in Congress. And he was like, I can't believe this. I'm living in that territory. Wow. And I was, you sure? And we looked it up. Yes. Then we found out how she got into office. A lot of people don't know this though, but a lot of those people, so everyone's saying it's racist out there. But when I went out there, some people were nice. They were friendly. And the thing is that some of them told me, I was at this grocery store and I was making a joke and I was like, y'all don't seem like y'all Margaret Avery Taylor, kind of people. And this one lady told me at the grocery store, Caucasian lady, she said, you didn't hear how she won, huh? And I said, what do you mean? So she goes, you need to look it up. She said, but if you don't believe me, look it up. And she told me, she said the candidate that was going against her, they found some scandal on him about some extramarital affair. And he was a Christian guy, really didn't want to go through all that. And I don't know what else they told him. And he dropped out of the race.
Wow.
And there was nobody else that could run against her. So she basically won by default.
By default. Wow.
So most of those people that are in those rallies, they're telling me, don't even live in their county.
Wow.
And can't even vote.
That's some scary mess right there.
That is some, yes. So I'm letting you guys know that. You have friends in Georgia. I don't know if people are on here or not, but you got people in Georgia. Let them know if they live in Cobb County. I think it's part of Cobb, and I forget the other county, but tell them how their people come out and let's vote. Because and I do understand about the Republican, Democrats. We really need to have more independence in the middle and stuff like that. But until we can get there, let's get people that want to work with other people.
Exactly. And everyone, you know what I'm saying? And so not this small contingency over here, and that's who you're concerned about, and that's all you're going to work for, and the rest of y'all, well, good luck. No, we can't do that anymore. And I love talking to you, brother. We always get into
I know we went over.
Yes. Oh, I always go over. I told you an hour and a half ish, but an hour-ish.
Now, and then what's really neat about you guys is that the church that you go to, every single kind of color there is there. It's like It's like how America's supposed to be.
It's the rainbow.
Everybody loves
When my
everybody.
mother,
Yeah.
one time my mother came to church when I was in New York, and she said, "Baby girl, Marty and them say this is a cult." She said, She looked around. She said, "Look like the United Nations to me."
Well, it is, and that's how we kind of are. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you see another person, I can't think of his name, but John would say, I was at the conference room singing with Jay, and remember we went to him and his wife. They live in like Sun Valley, and we went to their birthday party in the backyard. Oh, I can't think.
And it wasn't John's backyard, John and Chantel's backyard.
We were in Sun Valley. It was another part of Sun Valley. And I think it probably is my cousin's husband. I can't think of, but he's Caucasian. And he saw me and he said, "LaMarr, hey!" And he grabbed me. Go, "Oh my God, you gotta hear him sing. Are you singing tonight?" And it was just so, it was like, and so, and I'm with Denise. So I was with Denise. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm always with Denise. So when people see me and Denise, they trip out. They're like, "Oh my God." And then I also get that, "Oh, you're out with a white girl." And I'm like, well, that's my bestie. We love each other. We have fun with each other. And we don't see color when we're out together, and that's what I love about her, because she don't see no color. We just
I love
have
Denise.
fun. You know what I'm saying? And that's what,
out there.
that's how I really want to live my life.
Watching.
Huh?
Why is she not watching tonight?
You know what? I think I forgot to call her and tell her, I think.
You're in so much trouble.
She'd be on here.
She can watch the replay.
Yes.
But I think that, there definitely is a lot of work to be done. But I appreciate you, brother, because you use your music and your singing voice and your other voice to speak up for what you believe in. And it takes courage, it takes character, of which you have a lot. And so I'm proud to call you baby bro. And I love you. And I love it. Y'all go put your ballot in my box and have some fun with it. And we can use it every election time. Get your folks,
yes.
And have them go vote, because it is important to let your voice be heard. And
because I tell people, well, if you don't let your voice be heard, you can't complain about nothing.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear none of that. I want to hear, "Oh, this and that. Why are they doing this to us? Oh, the man done this to us." Well, get out there and become the leaders that you're supposed to be. If they've been in Congress too long, hey, well, let's bring some younger people, younger minds, some people that got some different ideas. But you're not going to be able to do it until I tried to become a Democratic elector, whatever those, with the Democratic Party. And I did it this year, and I lost by 1 vote. But I was like, the lady called me and said, "I hope 2 years from now or whatever, I hope you do it again, because I think you'd be a good person to do that." And I was like, okay, because she's been looking at my commentaries and see that. And I have to admit, y'all, I whether you feel I'm right or wrong, I will get on every blue moon and say, "How can I break this down to you?" Because and the thing is, I tell people, I don't mind you not agreeing with me. I don't mind. But after we finish talking it out and doing that, even though you have a different opinion than me, I still can love you as my brother or my sister. We can have a battle out, but at the end, I still need to respect you and say, "Hey, that's how you feel. That's how we agree to disagree, but I still love you."
And let's move on. Absolutely. And we so need so much more of that, don't we?
Oh my God, sis. Yes. We do. I mean, people get mad and then, well, like you see what happened the other day. You know what I'm saying? Right. I really don't believe what happened at the Oscars was about the joke. I really don't believe it was about her alopecia. I really believe that, and the thing is that we can't give up on him, because he's done a lot of good. He's worked really hard to get where he was from, where he's at now. And it's kind of, because I've been in that predicament, it's kind of sad to try to take that away from him.
Right.
Away from him because of that one moment in time. And like telling people, like I told people, I was typing. I was with MC Hammer, was my manager when I was with DRS. We number one, I got plaques on the wall, but he owes me $4 million. People were like, "That was me. I would have did something." but I don't like to be hot to the cot. So I was like, I have to do it another way. Let God, if God wants me to have the 4 mil, I'll have it. It's probably more, but now even though I'm older, my career is going back up. I'm still blessed to be able to do what I love to do and sing and do shows in front of people. I don't have the money, but you know what I'm saying? So I was telling somebody, I said, sometimes you have to wonder, like, what's more important. And sometimes the devil does get in your head and you just spaz out, and it's almost like insanity. And to me, that's what happened with Will. He had a sense, a bit of PSTD and insanity went in at the same time.
I also think that, in that, I think he was in a position, it looked like to me in watching, and I've watched it a few times, that there was like a battle in the moment. It was like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? He chose a thing that maybe wasn't the best thing, but we gotta, we all get to mess up and be forgiven. And so this is his opportunity for that.
And I think that something else is going on with him. It wasn't necessary. And then, and think about this. He's been trying to get to, and this is what I'm totally thinking. If I ever see him, I'm gonna let him be like, hey, Will, I don't think Will, and I really want to know this answer. I don't think Will Smith thought that he won that Oscar. I think he had given up, and he had figured, even though I'm here, they're just coming here to have me sit here so that I can be jokes, fodder for the Oscars, and I'm not going to win. Now I'm hearing that they asked him to leave and he refused to leave. So, you know what I'm saying? So that lets me know that there is something going on, because he knows he belonged there, but he made a mistake. And my thing was that it's just sad that when African-American brother of color, Hispanic, when we make mistakes, that's it. And when other people make mistakes, they're given chances to come back and either prove themselves or they're given another opportunity. So do I feel a lot of people think, I'm against Will? No, love Will to death. I think, he's my hero. You know what I'm saying? I followed him. I went bankrupt, got back up. He's who we epitomize. But right. I just think that something either at home, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I really feel that he either did something to Jada in the past or something. And ladies, y'all can get mad at me, but this is just what I feel, is what I'm feeling. And every time that Will did another movie back in 2019, and it was called The Gemini Man. And some people said it was trash, but the Academy people were saying, oh my God, he did a really great acting job. And people were saying, this could be an Oscar for him finally. But then that entanglement happened, and you heard nothing about The Gemini Man. Okay, no more. No one talked about it. His publicist, everything went under the rug. Now, and then that was Jada. Now, here comes, I'm going to get an Oscar, baby. You know what I'm saying? And people got to realize, they are in the same, she's an actress too. Even though he sings, they're both actors. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the ones that love you, sometimes I'll be honest with you, your family sometimes gets jealous of you. And people don't understand. The one that you love, sometimes they be like, oh, you ain't all that. You my husband, you ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? I see you every night. I see, you fart in the bed with me. I know who you really are. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. So it just seems like every time he gets that moment, it just seems that maybe, something happens with her and him that tears it all down. And I'm just looking at that saying, and it taught me a lesson, because I had that happen to me today, actually. I had a friend that I went somewhere with. They kept mentioning that I think I'm all that because you think you're a superstar. You think you all that. Just because you got plaques on your wall and stuff like that. And I realized that friend, I always try to lower myself for them whenever I'm with them. And I realized, and I was like, why shouldn't I be proud of the things that I actually have worked for? Just because you don't have it, don't get mad at me for God giving that to me. You know what I'm saying? Get mad at God. Don't get mad at me. I actually work hard. People think nothing came in my hand just happenstance. I actually work for this. You know what I'm saying? And for you to negate me like that, they just got mad, and they tried to say I was fronting them, and I was like, how am I fronting you? Who says if I tell you what it was about? Um, and look, I'm getting my therapy on right now for free. I,
well,
I bought a
well,
shirt.
I think that.
Hmm?
Go ahead. You
I
froze.
bought
Go
a shirt
ahead.
from my friend Kevin. Bad, nice looking shirt. The person I'm talking about is 2 or 3 sizes me, so they couldn't fit the shirt. And they said, "Well, can I let me borrow your shirt?" And I said, "For what?" And they said, "Oh, I have somebody that I want to wear this shirt." But I just bought the shirt, and I said, "Well, it's for a performance." And I was like, "Well, let me wear it first." And then they got mad at me and went off on me and told me that I was grandside. And I was like, "What did I do?" And then
Well,
that's
I
when
think I said to you a million times, if people treat you that way, then you have to recognize that that's not the way a friend treats another friend.
well, it all came
And so
out during the
that
screaming.
word, yeah, and we use that word, we have to tighten up how we use that word. People, we don't mean you no harm, sure do love you, but you don't get to be in this space right here because you're not safe for me. And not in the safe like he's going to do something to you or anybody's going to do anything to you, but it's safe for your own mental health, your well-being, and for your upward climb. You're trying to be the crab in the barrel, and we ain't rolling like that. You got to go.
And
So you
sis, I'm so proud because
surround.
the old me would have rumbled and tumbled because they were trying to get me to. I mean, no, really, my friend Sean, they tried to get me to fight. I mean, the old me would have been like, you know what, let's do this. But then a small voice said to me, "You got about in an hour. You got to talk to your sister on this boss talk, and you've got to be calm, and you can't be all frazzled and this and that." And so I just said, "You're gonna have to leave my house because I need some space so I can, what I'm saying, clear my mind and be able to be on this boss talk and talk to my sister." And then I realized
That's right.
that's what the enemy wanted to do. I said the enemy wanted me to come on here and be frazzled and you know what I'm saying, and be upset. And I said, that's what I thought. Why is this guy upset that I won't give him a shirt I just bought? And I said, okay. And that's when Denzel was saying, that's when the devil comes in and tries to wreak havoc and stuff. And then I got a call today while they were here, and I accidentally put it on speakerphone. That's another thing you gotta learn. You can't do your business in front of your friends.
No, you can't.
And I got a great opportunity with some big time stars that I'm going to be doing something with. And they heard it. And I think they got a little jealous and was like, how do you get this? And I didn't get this,
Right,
and
right. Again,
so
that speaks to just that person is and is not your friend, because we get excited for one another when things happen and they go well for someone else that we love and care about. We're excited. We're not trying to pull them down. We're not trying to take the shine. We're not trying to jump in there and be that negative energy or voice. So it's all about it. And that's for all of you out there. Protect your energy. Protect your
yeah,
energy.
because when my sis got her office and we were there, I was happy because you know what I was thinking, I could throw a little party here too. Because if my
Well, you
sis comes
worked
up,
hard.
I'm
You
coming.
worked hard and you earned it.
But I'm just saying, like my buddy, you saw that I did a video where I was telling people when you listen to God, what happens, and my buddy bought oh man, it looked like a resort, and he worked
His
really
house is
hard
beautiful.
for it.
Saw it today.
You know, I remember his credit was bad. I remember we prayed about it. I remember he went through the classes to do his credit and went back to school and just saved money and had a discipline that I was like, okay, and then bought a house, and it wasn't the house he wanted. He wanted this house in Carson, California, and he was mad because some people outbid him, but it was his dream. He said, "This is my dream house." And he was like, "God, how did you not give me this dream? You got me all this way," and bought a house in Bellflower, California with a pool. I mean, and it was like, okay, God, I guess this is it. and didn't realize that this was just a stepping stone to what he got now in Douglasville, Georgia, which is just amazing and just so
Yeah,
proud,
beautiful.
and
It is.
just and he listened to God. And he even has a room for God. I went in there, I go, what's that little space? He goes, oh, that's gonna be my dedicated prayer room. And he was like, God got me this, so I got to have a dedicated prayer room so that when I pray, that I can thank him and be like, and I was like, you know what? I never thought of doing that before.
That's
Just thanking him for all the things that he's done for us and the things that he's gonna do.
right. One of these rooms is yours, Lord. I love it. I love it. That house is beautiful. That pool, the way that you think you're all. I thought at that point when I was watching your video that I had seen everything, and then you said, and then there's the upstairs, and the upstairs is just as amazing as downstairs. Really, really, Derek, if you're out there, brother, I'm really proud of you. I'm happy for you, and I love how God kissed you on your forehead. That's a beautiful home. Congratulations. Yes.
Now that's the
Well,
friend.
girl,
Go ahead, sis.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, well, you and I can sit here and talk all night, but we're going to say goodnight. But I just once again want to thank you for being on my show with me tonight. It's a pleasure to have you. I love you. And my show is called Boss Talk for bosses just like you. And once a month we have a gentleman on. And so you are our gentleman of the month. So thank you. This is the Gentleman's Monthly. And you are a boss, a bold, one of a kind, sensational superstar. And I love you. Out there, Boss Talk, we love you. We will see you again next week. We're going to start April. Ooh, it's April next week. How fun. And so we will see you back here on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Central time, and 9 o'clock Eastern time. So tune in. We love you. Shalom, y'all, and live love.